Parmenides' philosophy is directly concerned with being and not being, with what exists and what doesn't exist. Parmenides was a pre-Socratic philosopher whose only work we have access to is a poem of 3 parts: the prologue, the way of truth, and the way of perception. It is even sadder that we don't have access to the entirety of the poem. Yet, the little of it that is available to us provides us with a remarkable insight into the radical philosophy of Parmenides. In the prologue, he only sets the scene for the disturbing and strange ideas he is about to formulate. He speaks of meeting a goddess who tells him she is intent on revealing to him the truth of the word. In The Way of Truth, he starts with logical premises to present his ideas. The first premise is that anything can either be or not be. There is no middle ground. Anything is either existent or non-existent. A thing can either be an existing thing or not an existing thing, a no thing, a nothing. The second premise is that we are unable to think of nothing. We can try it. We can take a moment and try to think of nothing. We can't. We either think of a respiration, or of some memories, or of some colors, blackness, redness, or of some future plans, but it is impossible to think of nothing. Everything you think of is something. Nothing is unthinkable. The idea that you can't think of nothing is central in the philosophy of Parmenides. Based on this idea, everything that you can think of is something, and something exists as opposed to nothing which doesn't exist. Parmenides would go on to deny change, death, birth, motion, and time. Change doesn't exist, because for something to change, it will have to stop being its prior self to become something new. And to stop being anything is impossible because it would amount to bringing the state prior to change to nothing, and nothing is impossible. Let's use an example. A green tomato that becomes red doesn't exist, because this implies that at some point the tomato would have to stop being green to become red. And the state of not being anything, in this situation green, is impossible. Birth is also impossible because nothing comes out of nothing, which is a famous quote by Parmenides. Something cannot emanate from nothing. The state of being something is eternal. It has no beginning and no end. The same argument is used to deny death, because death implies that something would become nothing, and nothing doesn't exist. Motion is impossible too, because motion means moving from one place where you are into a place where there is a void, where you don't exist. And a place where there is a void is a place where there is nothing, and nothing doesn't exist. Time is another concept that doesn't survive Parmenides' way of truth. Time cannot exist outside change. Time is just an idea that works with change. Let's say we build a room, and as soon as you get into this room, nothing changes. There is no alternation of day and night, you don't age, you don't feel hungry or thirsty, you don't need to go to the toilet, the material that makes your clothes doesn't deteriorate, your skin doesn't deteriorate. Inside such a room, there is no change. The absence of change is the absence of time. Parmenides' view of the universe is like a sphere where everything is existent simultaneously. You are both young and old. The larva is both a larva and a butterfly. You are here, there, and everywhere. It is like a sphere that encompasses the existence of everything. This is the philosophy of Parmenides that we discover in his poem. Philosopher Zeno, one of Parmenides' followers, came up with a number of dichotomy paradoxes that suggest motion is impossible. Let's try to go through the idea of Zeno. Let's say you have a gun and you want to shoot a target that is facing you, and the distance the bullet will have to travel to reach the target is, say, 2 miles. Before the bullet reaches the target, it will have to cross 50% of this distance. The remaining half could be halved, and then the new remaining half could be halved, and every new half could be halved infinitesimally. Theoretically, every new half could be halved. This means that reaching the target is impossible because it requires you to finish an infinite number of tasks. The best suggested answer to the paradox uses physicist Max Planck's idea of Planck length, which is the smallest unit for length, a unit that cannot be divided or halved. But it is argued that Planck length cannot be divided only because this is what current technology allows us to do. There is no telling that if we could go smaller, Planck length would still be impossible to divide or to halve. If you remain at the theoretical level, every distance, no matter how short, can be divided and halved. Now look at this. This is the coding script of a game. Every possibility is accounted for and expected. And this is how the game plays out. Now this video has reached its end. If you enjoy this type of videos, you might want to subscribe to the channel. And until we meet again, have a great day.